All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. Just going to reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our WWE SmackDown preview. Now we're going to talk about some Thursday Night Wrestling. We're going to talk about some of the reviews that happened on TNA Impact, also, Honor Club. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. If you got a burning question or a hot take about professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to get off your chest, this show is all about keeping the conversation going. Obviously, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed, or why not use that super chat? Just hit the $sign below the chat box. It's guaranteed that whatever you have to say is going to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel, the GSMC Sports Network. Your super chats, obviously, they helps us, kind of keep the lights on to all these podcasts, all these awesome podcasters, bringing you guys amazing sports content that you guys love so much. We are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together, we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat is not your thing, hit up the gsmcpodcast.net to tip and donate. And leave your comment, question, or concern. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. Of course, feedback is a gift. We appreciate every little bit of your support. Don't forget to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network. And together we can watch and talk about some awesome wrestling content on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's talk about some Thursday Night Wrestling. Just kind of, first and foremost, obviously, my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences to the families that have been affected by this crazy natural disaster. It's it sucks. You know what I mean? It's unprecedented. I'll keep it brief. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you kind of see all these things that happen on the news, all this, crazy stuff. And you think to yourself, you're like, that's never going to happen to me. It's never going to happen. I'm sorry. And then when it finally does, and then in this shock, your heart is broken. You're seeing your loved ones affected. People are huge. It's crazy. This is a catastrophe. Hurricane Helen, obviously it's, kind of crazy. But now we're going to talk about some TNA Impact. Once again, Hurricane Helen, basically kind of, screwed over what TNA Wrestling was going to do. They had a special with Hannifan, who basically relives the best Bound for Glory special edition, on TNA Impact. First, they talk about, the X Division champion Mike Bailey taking on Frankie Kazarian, Bound for Glory 2022. It was the first time, ever. It was the first time ever match at Bound for Glory in 2022, wherein Frankie Kazarian challenged Speedball Mike Bailey for the X Division championship. In the end, it was Kazarian who captured the X Division title for the 5th time by submitting Bailey with crossface chicken wing. Nowadays, you don't really see the success that Frankie Kazarian really had back in the day. Just a mere 2 years later, you had Speedball Mike Bailey win the championship, lose it to Zachary Wentz, then win it back. So, I like Speedball Mike Bailey. I think this was slightly, maybe around the same time as the formation of Speedball Mountain. But Frankie Kazarian, I like this kid. I think I still feel like he has a lot left in the tank, and it should be pretty interesting to kind of get his. All right, next we have the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, Bound for Glory 2021. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet match has been a staple for Bound for Glory over the last several years. You never know who might show up, and for good reason. The winner of the match earns a championship opportunity of their choosing anytime, any place for up to 1 year. In 2021, the Gauntlet match was won by Moose, who called his shot later in the night and to become the new Impact Wrestling World Championship, which is, exactly what, and it started this kind of, it started the system, you know, um, obviously it brought a lot of, chaos. It brought a lot of, it brought the return of the Demon, also brought Matt Cardona. There's a lot of, people who debut during this match. Bound for Glory is definitely one of TNA's most prominent pay-per-views. I think, next to Slammiversary, it's kind of like that signature PLE that TNA have. You're not, it's like a WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yeah, it is kind of like a WrestleMania. It is. And, obviously, having big names like Moose kind of come into the picture, it was worth it. It was cool. Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace takes on Masha Slamovich, Bound for Glory 2022. The Knockouts World Championship was on the line at Bound for Glory 2022 as Jordynne Grace defended against the undefeated Slamovich in perhaps one of the most physical Knockouts World title matches of all time. Grace and Slamovich took each other to the absolute limits. When the dust had settled, it was Grace who reigned supreme, following an innovative top rope Grace driver. The match was runner-up in Match of the Year voting for TNA. Both of these superstars are very, very successful, very, very, they deserve respect. Jordynne Grace is definitely on my list of the top women's wrestlers in professional wrestling industry right now. I got to be honest. And watching Slamovich kind of get kicked out of that tag team with Tasha Steelz, also Alicia Edwards, I kind of feel like good riddance. Maybe TNA can try to find a way to get her singles career back on track where she could maybe have this match between Jordynne Grace part 2. So I feel like that would be pretty badass. Next, we have Bound for Glory 2023 Moose versus PCO versus Rhino versus Steve Macklin. Monsters Ball. After being trapped with no food, no water, no light for 24 hours, Moose, PCO, Rhino, and Steve Macklin were unleashed in Monsters Ball at Bound for Glory 2023. No disqualifications, no countouts, and no shortage of weaponry. The only way to win is by pinfall or submission. After Bully Ray sent Macklin crashing through the table, wrapped in barbed wire, it was PCO who capitalized off the chaos to win. Monsters Ball will return at this year's Bound for Glory as PCO defends both the Digital Media Championship and the International Heavyweight Championships against Matt Cardona, which is presented by the Eye of the Salamander in theaters November 1st. I think it's kind of cool how they kind of added that little PL, little promotion there. All right, we have Impact World Champion Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards, Bound for Glory 2022. At an epic main event, Bound for Glory 2022, Josh Alexander looked to continue his record-setting reign as Impact World Champion when he defended the title against the leader of Honor No More, Eddie Edwards. It was a crash between the two of the most accomplished individuals in the promotion's history, but only one could leave the biggest event of the year with the Impact World Championships. Following a breathtaking encounter, Josh Alexander solidified himself as, at the time, the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling with the C4 spike for the win. And just kind of, reading something like this, it's just kind of sucks that Josh Alexander has kind of fell wayside. He's fell wayside to becoming the face of TNA. Obviously, having a lot of dedication, a lot of, not sacrifice, a lot of commitment. No, that's not the right word. A lot of, oh my God, damn it. What's the word I'm thinking of? A commitment. No, I just said that. Damn it. But anyways, Josh Alexander should deserve another run as the TNA World Champion. I'm sorry. They wanted to do it at Slammiversary this year, but, during the match, mid-call, they decided Nick Nemeth was the right decision. I possibly think it could have went either way. Like, Joe Hendry, Josh Alexander, Nick Nemeth. It doesn't matter who would win. TNA would have been put on the map. And I think 1,010%, I want to see Josh Alexander bounce back. I don't want to see him leave TNA anytime soon. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy. On Saturday, October 26th, TNA Wrestling Showcase pay-per-view event of the year, Bound for Glory, comes to the Wayne State University Fieldhouse in Detroit, Michigan, where Joe Hendry will challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship. Obviously, tickets are on sale now at etickets.com, or just, come to order, TNA Plus. Should be pretty interesting. So, kind of once again, giving thoughts and prayers to everybody affected by the hurricane. And I just, hope that you guys are safe. If you're listening from that area, just like I said, be safe. I have a family. I have a wife and kids. Obviously, something like this, where it's a natural disaster, where it's like nobody's really fault except for you want to jump into the whole global warming thing. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to get into this. It's a wrestling podcast. Nothing about politics or global issues. you know, um, I just, kind of crazy, but yeah. All right, moving on. Ring of Honor right now. My notes aren't popping up. Gotta love when technology helps you every day, but it could fail you drastically. Like really, really. Okay, here we are. Oh, I was gonna say, damn. So first and foremost, we saw the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Championships in a proving ground match. The Sons of Texas, Dusty Rhodes, Marshawn von Erich, and Ross von Erich defeated the premier athletes Tony Nese, Arya Davari, and Mark Sterling via pinfall. The final reckoning from Rhodes was, performed on Mark Sterling for the victory. Nyla Rose defeated Katie Arquette with the Beast Bomb. MIT, the team of, Athena, Billy Starks, Lexi Nair, where Athena asked what was Stark's problem. Stark said she was tired of Athena leaving her hanging while she was always, kind of stepped on. And this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. After Abaddon, made her attack on Starks, obviously Athena bailed. She bailed. Athena told Starks, to step aside because she had a problem. And she, during the title celebration, and it just, Starks left. And it's, not much of a surprise here that this is probably going to be the next, kind of feud going on. And a lot of people love this. A lot of, just thinking about what's happened in world wrestling history, with Shawn Michaels and Diesel, where you had Diesel turn his back, Triple H and Dave Batista. A lot of people love these underdogs that are treated like crap, kind of like what you're seeing on SmackDown with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. This could possibly push Tiffany Stratton to become a babyface, but that's that's still a pretty big push here. But overall, I would love to see Billy Starks dethrone Athena. And right now, at this point in time, I kind of feel like it's poetic justice. I feel like it'd be, kind of great for her to win a championship. Kind of have a new breed. We all know Billy Starks can do it. She was a long reigning not AEW, Ring of Honor television champion. So there's no doubt in my mind she can come out and bring it every night, put the butts in the seats, ensure revenue for Ring of Honor, TNA, not TNA, All Elite Wrestling, basically Tony Khan. So I think that's a great way to kind of get into that. Anthony Henry, I believe in Joe Hendry. I'm just kidding. Well, no, I do. I believe in Joe Henry. Anthony Henry and Beef defeated Anthony Katena and Wes Barkley via pinfall. The Outrunners defeated the Infantry, which is kind of sad because I was banking on the Infantry kind of bouncing back. The Ian Rakobani and Caprice Coleman cut. You saw Kenta Kobashi defeat Samoa Joe with Jay Lethal via pinfall, burning lariat. And we had a Ring of Honor World Championship match. Mark Briscoe once again proves why he's the man of Ring of Honor, defeating Matt Taven with Mike Bennett via the J Drilla. Them boys, baby, them boys. He was able to retain that championship, which is badass. I fell in love with Mark Briscoe. I feel like he's one of the best wrestlers right now out there. And overall, he deserves it. He deserves 1,010%. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our next segment. We're going to talk about some WWE Bad Blood predictions. So, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds.